Just now, a 17-year-old high school student did something that shouldn't have been possible. He entered a professional track in Memphis, Tennessee, lined up against adult men who had dedicated their lives to training for this occasion, and he completely destroyed them. He ran so quickly that day that it broke a record that hadn't been broken in years. The issue that no one is discussing, though, is that this child wasn't meant to be here at all. His high school rivals were beating him 6 months prior. He was being written off by the internet. Experts were worried. In real time, many were referring to it as burnout. The doubters were not convinced by his own Olympic gold medal. The best 400-meter runner in history, Michael Johnson, made a very unexpected statement after everything changed in one race. The man who held the world record for more than 20 years and spent his whole career describing how extremely tough this event actually is had to pause and realize what he was seeing. A talent that spans generations. The kind that, if you're lucky, appears once every 10 years. This is the tale of how Quincy Wilson changed the course of his sports history from being written off. Legendary athletes are not born in Chesapeake, Virginia. It's a typical community with typical families leading typical lives. Growing up in one of those households, Quincy Wilson's early years did not indicate that he would become a world record holder. Yes, both of his parents were athletes. His mother, Monique, played basketball and soccer in college and was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Roy, his father, was a football player for the Naval Academy. Cadence, his elder sister, is a track athlete at James Madison University.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
As if it were ingrained in their DNA, athletics runs in the family. However, having athletic parents doesn't guarantee anything, which is something that many individuals are unaware of. Many children who are born into households that place a high value on athletics fail miserably. Even if they have access, genetics, and information passed down from those who have been there before, it still doesn't work out. One choice that Quincy's family made while he was still a child, a choice that most families would never even consider making, is what makes his story different. Everything was packed up, not all the way across town, not to a larger home with better schools in the same community. They moved to Potomac, Maryland, from Chesapeake, Virginia. On a wager, they relocated their entire lives. Why? The family thought their boy could become something exceptional at Bullies, a private school with a strong athletic program and a coach named Joe Lee. When you boil it down, consider what that really implies. We believe in you enough to uproot our entire existence. New house, new city, new neighborhood, new everything. We're going to bet our family's stability on the idea that you're going to be worth it. This is a tremendous amount of pressure to place on a child before he has demonstrated anything at the senior competitive level. Most teenagers crumble under that type of pressure. That is the type of weight that causes children to give up before they even begin. And for a while, his performances do begin to reflect that pressure. However, you must realize how abnormally quick this child was from the start before we move on to what happened next. Quincy Wilson's 14-year-old stats weren't only remarkable for his age, they weren't merely excellent. In the past, they were insane. In the 400 meters, Quincy Wilson surpasses Obia Moore's national under-14 record. Give that a moment to land. This record had been in place for 30 years. 30 years. Teenage athletes have been attempting to break it for 30 years. No one had surpassed it after 30 years of programs nurturing young talent, coaches working with children at the ideal age to develop speed and power, natural gifts, hard work, and everything coming together. Then it is run quicker by a 14-year-old from a school that the majority of the track community had never heard of. He is still in middle school. He hasn't even started high school yet. The world of athletics observes how people constantly take note when a child with exceptional speed performs an amazing feat. Interest and attentiveness are there, however they are accompanied by an asterisk. When the competition gets serious, many in the sport are concerned about whether it will survive. Here's what everyone in track and field is aware of regarding youth records. They break all the time, every single time. If you follow the sport at all, you have most likely witnessed it yourself.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Everyone goes insane when a 15-year-old runs wild. Social media is booming. Coaches are contacting you. Sponsors are eager to participate. Everyone believes they are witnessing the next big thing. After 5 years, no one can recall their name. The body did not grow as everyone had anticipated. The strain of all that attention was too much for the intellect to bear. Life simply got in the way. Injuries do occur. Priorities change. What appeared to be destiny can be derailed by 1,000 other things. In child sports, it occurs frequently. Therefore, the serious people in the sport are definitely impressed when Quincy Wilson, at the age of 14, smashes a 30-year-old national record. However, they are not persuaded. They have doubts. They have previously seen this film. They are aware of the typical outcome. They're thinking, show us what you do against real competition. Show us what happens when racial differences truly matter. Show us that this time wasn't merely a strange outcome on a day with excellent weather, a soft field, and a beneficial tailwind. It's okay for the doubters to feel that way. They have real experience advising them to exercise caution. They have witnessed this tale unfold dozens of times before, and it seldom ends as everyone had hoped. Then something occurs that virtually instantly silences many of the skeptics. However, it also leads to a completely new issue that almost throws everything off course before it even begins. At Bully's school, Joe Lee enters. The Wilson family moved their entire life to work with this man. This coach provided justification for relocating across state lines. What sets Joe Lee apart from many other coaches who work with young prodigies is something that, although it may seem straightforward, is actually extremely uncommon in contemporary sports. He doesn't hurry Quincy. That's all. That's what makes it revolutionary. He doesn't hurry him. Joe Lee does something different in a world where young athletes are overraced, overtrained, and burned out before they reach their true prime, where coaches are trying to extract every last bit of performance from teenagers to make a name for themselves, where schedules are jam-packed with competitions, and there's always another meet to chase and another record to break. He meticulously constructs Quincy's seasons. He keeps him safe. He has complete control over Quincy's relaxation and competition schedules. He determines which meetings are important and which are not. Even when the short-term results start to decline, he believes in the long game. Even if the internet starts posing queries, even when individuals begin to question whether the excitement was genuine, even in the face of skepticism and the desire for more competitive racing schedules, he maintains his patience. He doesn't give up. It's not thrilling to be patient. It doesn't garner media attention. On social media, it doesn't become popular. It doesn't inspire conversations about breakthroughs and immediate achievement. However, it is precisely the reason that the subsequent events are even conceivable. It serves as the cornerstone upon which everything else is built. The narrative we're about to tell would not have happened at all if Joe Lee hadn't been willing to be patient and shield this child from the pressure, expectations, and ongoing desire for greater performances. Beneath all the excitement, records, and expectations, there is one thing about Quincy Wilson that reveals everything about the kind of person he truly is. When he became an Olympic champion at the age of 16, a reporter asked him what he wanted to do to commemorate his first Olympic race in Paris, where everyone was watching and his name was trending. When given the opportunity to accomplish anything, what would a 16-year-old Olympic gold medalist want to do? Have a party? Dinner with family for a celebration? Tour for an interview? Sponsored appearances? Recognized on a national level? No. Quincy Wilson expressed his desire to play Call of Duty with his mates at home. Not a nice meal for sponsors. Not a tour for interviews. Nothing that would boost his self-esteem or enhance his reputation. Call of Duty, play video games with his friends. Underneath it all, Quincy Wilson truly is that person, an Olympic winner who happened to be a teenager. This entire story is basically about that person. Paris in 2024, the Olympic Games. The largest track and field stage, possibly the largest in all of sports. Quincy Wilson is 16 years old. 16. It's crazy enough that he is chosen for Team USA's 4x400-meter relay pool. What's even more bizarre, though, is that he becomes the youngest male track and field Olympian in American history. Take a moment to consider that. 128 years. American men have been participating in the Olympics for that long. Track and field competitors have represented their nation on the world's largest stage for 128 years. At 16, Quincy Wilson was the youngest person in history. He is the first. In the preliminary heat, he runs the relay's first leg. His anxiety is visible on his face. You can see how important it is to him. It's the Olympics. From the moment they begin running, Every track athlete dreams of this. He is 16 years old, still in high school, and still figuring out who he is as a person, let alone an athlete, in the world's largest tournament. In that heat, he ran 47.27 seconds, which is not his greatest performance. He wouldn't often be content with that kind of performance. However, the team is eligible, that's what counts. The group advances. Then something amazing occurs in the championship game. For the last race, Quincy Wilson is not in the running order. A different lineup is chosen by the coaches. Distinct runners, distinct legs. Without Wilson in the mix, the remainder of the team competes in a gold medal race. They are in charge, they perform flawlessly. They win gold for Team USA, and at the age of 16, Quincy Wilson had won an Olympic gold medal. He is still in high school. He carries an Olympic gold medal around his neck while he works on his homework in a classroom, most likely taking notes in English or maths. Before he graduates from high school, he is an Olympian. This child is currently being watched by everyone on the planet. Every meeting he attends is sold out. People pay notice each time his name shows up on a start list. Sales of tickets increase. The internet begins to hum. Everyone is curious about this 16-year-old Olympic champion's future plans. Almost quickly, the expectations rise from high to completely stratospheric. And that's precisely where the actual issue arises, because there's a huge difference between being a champion that everyone depends on and being a prodigy that everyone is watching. People are intrigued when they are being observed. When you are relied upon, others anticipate your performance. Quincy Wilson discovers in 2025 how drastically different those two forces are from one another. When 2025 finally arrives, things start to go wrong almost instantly. January. The showcase in Virginia. Quincy lines up for the 500-meter race, which he is predicted to win. He won a gold medal at the Olympics. He is the fastest 400-meter runner in history for under 18s. It should be a formality for him to win a race. Then he is beaten by Andrew Salvador, a fellow high school student, not by a very small amount, not by a few hundredths of a second, which would need slow-motion replay. Salvador's time is 1:01:49. Quincy's time is 1:02:49. He loses by a whole 2 seconds. 2 whole seconds. That's a lifetime in a running race. That's the distinction between being dropped and dominating. The internet responds as it always does. Just 3 months ago, people were hailing him as the future of American sprinting. Now, they are publishing essays questioning if the enthusiasm was ever genuine. Did we think too highly of him? Was he merely a byproduct of the time? Was the Olympic selection an anomaly? Did we become engrossed in the narrative and fail to notice what was going on? When the outside season arrives, the situation worsens dramatically. At the Florida relays, he is defeated. At other meets, he loses. Several losses, consecutive losses. The impetus that had been growing only a few months prior vanishes entirely. The true shock comes when he doesn't make it to the 2025 World Championships. 16-year-old Olympic champion is unable to qualify for the 17-year-old World Championship squad. Quincy Wilson needs a break. A real Olympian publicly states on social media that the timetable is excessive, that they are witnessing a burnout occur in real time. They are attempting to caution others by observing an adolescent who is breaking under the pressure of expectations. Fans are perplexed. Experts are worried. Those who wagered against him from the beginning feel justified. All along, they were correct. The hype, they claimed, was exaggerated. They claimed that a 16-year-old couldn't compete at this level. It was too fast, they said. Here's some evidence. And while attempting to complete his final year of high school, 17-year-old Quincy Wilson is coping with all of this in public. Consider the real sensation of that. You're a teenager. You have a gold medal from the Olympics. On Twitter, your name has been trending. The world is aware of your identity. And now everyone on the internet is arguing over whether or not you're done. If you've reached the end of your prime, whether you're broken, exhausted, and doomed to serve as a warning about young athletes, the majority of children crumble under the pressure. Most children begin to alter everything. Novel strategy, fresh instruction, fresh coaching, a fresh approach. Total redesign, since there must be a problem, right? There must be a serious issue if you're losing races that you should be winning. The majority of teenagers would panic. Most would make drastic adjustments. Quincy Wilson, however, took a different approach. He returned to the fundamentals. He returned to Joe Lee. He returned to the race course. And everyone was silenced by what transpired in Memphis next. July 13, 2025. Memphis, Tennessee hosts the Ed Murphy Classic. This isn't a race in high school. Quincy is not competing against age-appropriate participants in this junior competition. This is an actual professional gathering with actual professional athletes, real adults with years of experience competing at this level. This is the main stage. In the field is Bryce Deadman, one of America's fastest 400-meter runners, an adult who has spent his entire career training and competing at the top level. He is not a colleague. In theory, he should be able to control an adolescent. Wilson begins in lane 5. The firearm explodes. He exerts himself for the first 200 meters without becoming alarmed. He is under control. He knows how to pace himself. He's considering his next move. He then fully opens out in the last straight, the home stretch where races are won and lost. He simply lets go, 44.1 seconds. The stadium goes crazy. People are going crazy. Because what just transpired shouldn't be possible, the reaction is visceral and instantaneous. To truly comprehend what this means, you need context, therefore allow me to explain that number. 44.1 seconds. That is the quickest the 400 meters have ever been run by an under-18 athlete in the event's history, anywhere in the world. No 17-year-old has ever run faster. Not in any nation, not in any time period, not in any circumstances. Additionally, it is the second fastest time in track and field history for any athlete under the age of 20. Additionally, it was the fourth fastest time ran in 2025 for all age categories worldwide. Not only teenagers, not only youthful runners, everybody. All they do is train for this particular event as elite athletes. Athletes with millions of dollars of funding and years of expertise. The world's fourth fastest 400-meter runner that year was a 17-year-old high school student. He defeated Bryce Deadman. He outperformed all the experts in that sector. He led from the front, in command, as if the outcome was always certain. As if he were just better. It was truly incomprehensible, according to live viewers. People were searching for words to express what they were witnessing, but they were unable to do so. Someone said that they had never witnessed an adolescent take control of a race from the outset. Total command, total assurance. It was one of the best performances in track and field history, according to another. Not track and field for young people. The junior championships, that is, stop track and field. Among the best performances ever captured on tape. And Michael Johnson, the man who held the 400-meter world record for years, the man who has dedicated his entire career to explaining why this event breaks people, the man who has explained the brutal difficulty of this distance more than anyone alive, had to admit what he was seeing when he saw 44.1. A talent that spans generations. The kind that, if you're lucky, appears once every 10 years. Perhaps once every generation. 44.1 at age 17. In January, the child was being pummeled by rivals in high school. In February, the child was being written off by the internet. The child who was reportedly experiencing real-time burnout in April. That young person just completed the world's fastest under-18 400-meter race. I'll tell you what transpired next because Quincy Wilson's responses to everything reveal more about him than any number could. Once the record was broken, following the stadium's explosion. Coaches were giving each other hugs after that. Quincy Wilson wrote on his Instagram stories about his coach allegedly popping champagne on the infield because the rules don't specifically address 17-year-olds in the celebration. 3 phrases, that's all. On to the next one. 3 phrases, not a word. Don't criticize competitors. Don't look at me. There isn't a lengthy caption detailing the trip, the naysayers, and the return. Michael Johnson, the world record, and the implications for his future are not mentioned. The difficulties in January and February are not explained. No contemplation of the experience of being written off. After just 3 words, get back to work. There you have it, the entire individual. It's not an act. He wasn't coached by a PR staff on that. In reality, Quincy Wilson is that person. That child's family relocated states on his behalf. That's the adolescent who played Call of Duty with his mates at home after winning an Olympic medal. That is the athlete who, despite being publicly beaten for 6 months in a row, never freaked out, altered his strategy, or questioned his actions. Moving on to the next one. You can learn everything about his mindset from one sentence. There is still work to be done. The finish line is not the record. It's merely a stop along the way, and the one that comes after this will be even larger. Because Quincy Wilson is currently 18 years old, his physical prime hasn't yet been reached. He is still in his prime. They are far from being behind him, they are in front of him. Most elite 400-meter runners reach their prime in their mid to late 20s. Wilson still has 10 years to grow, 10 years of strengthening, of accelerating, of accumulating experience, of developing pressure management skills, of being aware of his body's capabilities. The 400-meter world record is 43.18 seconds. In 1999, Michael Johnson set it. For more than 25 years, it has stood. Over 25 years. In all the years afterward, no one has been within half a second of it. Not near, not even visible. At the age of 17, Quincy Wilson is already 44.1. Do the math, observe the trajectory. Imagine what happens when this young man is 24 or 25 years old, fully grown, and competing on the world's largest stages with years of elite expertise. Not only is the world record in danger, the world record is in grave danger if Quincy Wilson maintains his health, remains focused, and continues to perform as he did in Memphis. Los Angeles 2028 is almost approaching. Olympics at home, American territory, the whole nation is observing, the largest stage. Quincy Wilson will turn 20 this year. A 16-year-old Olympic champion, a 17-year-old world record holder. What does 20 look like? How does 21 appear? What does 25 look like when he's at the top of his game? Consider the trajectory. Consider his current location as well as his potential future. The athletes who dominate this event and hold the current world records are all nearing the end of their careers or have already reached the end of their prime. Wilson has only just begun. He resembles an NBA rookie who recently had the greatest rookie campaign in history. Now, everyone else in the league is keeping an eye on this kid, wondering when he will become unstoppable. Time is on his side. He still has room to grow. He needs to gain experience. He has obstacles to overcome. He needs to climb mountains. Additionally, he has already achieved times that place him among the greatest 400-meter runners in history. This is the true appearance of generational talent. It goes beyond just speed. It's more than one outstanding performance. It's a blend of innate talent and mental toughness, as well as a commitment to work hard, patience, and the capacity to maintain humility in the face of being told you're unique. Quincy Wilson possesses everything. He is fast enough to shatter global records. He is mentally capable of withstanding the strain. He is able to maintain his composure. His network of support prevents him from becoming sidetracked. His coaching places more emphasis on his long-term growth than on immediate outcomes. Everything is in place for a historic event to occur. What comes next, however, is still unknown. Will he continue to be well? Will he keep getting better? Will he experience the same kind of pressure as other new talents because he is the apparent heir to Michael Johnson's legacy? Will a 20-year-old American boy smash the world record at home in Los Angeles in 2028? Or will an unforeseen event occur? Will he sustain an injury? Will he come up against competition that challenges him more than he has ever faced? Will he eventually give in to the pressure of everyone's expectations? Quincy Wilson is unstoppable at this very instant in this timeline. He has a lot of momentum. He has self-assurance. For his age, he has the fastest time ever. Every athlete and track and field coach in the world is interested in him. Michael Johnson has described him as a generational talent. He has every advantage. However, his story has taught us that things may change quickly. In January, he was riding off. In July, he was back at the top. In athletics, things can change that fast. That is the speed at which a story may change. The story can shift that quickly. Therefore, whether Quincy Wilson will be outstanding is not the question. He's already really good. How great is the question? Will he become the best 400-meter runner in history? Will he surpass the 25-year-old record set by Michael Johnson? Will he perform in front of his Los Angeles home crowd at the age of 20? Or have we yet to see another chapter? In Memphis, Quincy Wilson was more than simply a quick runner. He provided an answer to an issue that has plagued track and field for more than 20 years. Is Michael Johnson's record ever going to be surpassed? Is it possible for anyone to ever come close? It turns out that the solution is a 17-year-old child who was written off 6 months prior. This is the reason this story transcends racial boundaries. It's about having patience, perspective, and faith in the process, even when everyone else is doubting its efficacy. It is the story of a family that uprooted their lives because they had such faith in their son. It tells the story of a coach who refused to hasten development in order to achieve quick fixes. It tells the story of an athlete who maintained his modesty despite being told he was unique. It's about someone who, instead of panicking, replied to uncertainty with hard effort. The 44.1 is going to fade. There will be a break in the times. Eventually, records will drop. However, this moment's significance, the arrival of someone genuinely unique, will endure. Not only a quick adolescent, not merely an Olympian, someone who has the capacity to expand the possibilities of his event. 2028 will be in Los Angeles, a home crowd, the largest stage, a 20-year-old with 10 years to go. The world record is keeping an eye on things. The legacy of Michael Johnson is observing. Quincy Wilson is only beginning.